I want to read something just real quick, Carter, if you're okay with it. It's not
Yeah,
a super
please.
chat, but it spoke to me. Daniel Harp said, "It's hard as a Christian to not have hatred in my heart for the really despicable ones like," and he names some people he has hatred for: Soros, Pelosi, Schumer, the DA that won't prosecute, others I'm not naming. Those aren't people I have trouble with, I guess, but there are definitely people I despise. And there's a practice you can do, I think, that is really useful. Carter may not agree with this because we talked about this before, but I heard this preacher, this guy, Michael Bernard Beckwith, he preaches at this sort of, it was a spiritual center. It was kind of the first place I started going when I was on my path to finding God. And it was very non-denominational, a little bit new age and stuff too. But anyway, this guy, Michael Bernard Beckwith, said something that really stuck with me and has remained with me. And he talked about putting people that he hates at the center of his prayer altar and praying for them until he doesn't hate them anymore. And I thought that it just made me think about things differently, because you're not just praying for good things for this person you hate. In the act of praying for them, and if you're not a Christian and if you don't pray, maybe meditating for them or just thinking positive thoughts about someone that you don't like, you're changing yourself. It helps you to get rid of this hatred, this thing inside of you, if you do it long enough. It's an amazing practice. I'm not saying I'm great at it. You have to do it every day, but I've done it, and it sucks. Even in my gratitude journal, I'm like, thank you so much for this person that I'm learning lessons from this person that I couldn't learn any other way. Thank you. But it really can change you over time to do that. So anyway, thank you, Carter, for letting me have that aside. But I think that probably resonates with a lot of people, and they don't do that. Social justice warriors don't try and cultivate empathy or love for people they hate. They should. It would change them.
Yeah, I think you and I do depart on this a little bit. I don't think it's psychologically healthy to focus on hating people. Like, I think that's self-destructive to make that your focus. So in that sense, we probably agree. And as an atheist, I think, meditation, therapy, introspection, working on your psychology, like, sure. But I think where we maybe part ways is, I don't think it's immoral to despise someone. I think if you are to, I think hate is the flip side of love, and hatred is a correct response to immorality and vile people and vile behavior. So, like, just a silly example, like an axe murderer who kills my family. It's not I don't need to learn to love that person. That person committed vile acts. I can hate their acts and I can hate them. And because I can say, well, look, this person is so vile and the damage that they've done is so vile, that they are, if I can't hate them, who can I hate? And I think there's a scale that goes maybe from that end to, like, your spouse who you love. And
Yeah.
I don't think that it's necessary to love all of your enemies. I just don't think that's necessary, but I know that's a Christian thing. So we're not going to have a debate about, like, we're not going to come to agreement on it because
Right.
it's a, yeah.
Right. But I will say, to use your example of a murderer who kills your family, one of the most moving things I've seen in recent years was the Charleston, was it Charleston? The church, the black church with the white supremacist guy came in and killed a bunch of people. And to see the family members on camera, I can't remember if it was during his sentencing or it was another time during the trial, but they were person after person. It wasn't just one, just talking about forgiveness, how they forgave him. That was moving. It doesn't mean that I'm capable of that. I would like to be, but I think that probably, did that move you at all as an
No,
atheist to
it
see that?
disgusts me.
Really?
Yeah, I don't want to live in a
sense.
world where vile, evil behavior is just so easily forgiven.
It's not easy.
It's forgiven.
Why do you
It
think
doesn't need to be forgiven. You don't have to have revenge. You don't have to be like, you don't have to fester in it and stew on it, but it doesn't need to be forgiven. Like, it's not my job to forgive people from their behavior. And if they've harmed me, I don't need to forgive them. Like, that's not a moral requirement. I don't know where that requirement comes from other than the Bible. I don't know where it would rationally come from. I don't know why that would be a requirement morally.
We don't have to go on this tangent, but I will say, I think that it's not necessary. You can continue living your life without forgiveness. I just think it's good for the soul. And it's not easy. That's why it is so moving. You look at something like that, and it brought me to tears to imagine a heart that's capable of that. And I think, obviously we will disagree here, but I don't think it's a human thing. I think it's God. Like, some people, it's God forgiving through them, but that's, obviously we'll disagree on that. So
right.
Anyway.
Right. No, I get it.
That's
and
interesting.
again, like, look, there's,
that we have
I see
such
people in
different
chat.
opinions on that.
Yeah, I see people in chat like, forgiveness is this, forgiveness is that. Carter doesn't get forgiveness is this. Hate is the opposite. Opposite of hate is apathy. The opposite of love is apathy. I see all these opinions in chat. And this is one of the problems that I have with this topic and the topic of love and hating your enemies and forgiveness. None of these terms are very clearly defined, and everyone's got some interpretation of them. Someone wrote in chat, you can love your enemies, but don't like them. As an atheist, I don't even know what that means. I have no idea. Literally, I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know what that means. So, like, if we can't define terms clearly, it's useless to try and have these discussions, because it just does. It's like, I don't even know what I'm talking about. Am I going to argue with you that you could love someone without liking them? I don't know. I have no idea. Now I don't know what words mean at that point. I have no idea what you're talking about. So, like, that's what the frustration comes in, because there's a lot, the Bible's got a lot of, and some contradictory stuff, but it's got a lot of phrases like that, by the way, which are also translated from Greek in the New Testament mostly, right? So, like, and there's lots of words for love and Greek, so it's not even clear that you're talking about the same thing as what was originally written. And you're operating off of religion that I don't share. Like, it just gets to be the divide between definitions and what we're talking about is just so huge that it's almost useless to, like, argue with Christians in chat or you or anyone about it, because it's not worth it. I get it. We're in agreement that there's some psychological validity to not festering in your hatred and your resentment and anger, and, like, that's bad for you. I totally agree with that. Differences, I don't know. I don't know that differences are even worth arguing unless we got into super, super detailed semantics, which I don't even have the expertise to do when it comes to biblical phrases. Like, I don't know.
Well, we don't have to get on this path. I really like this conversation. I enjoy, as you know, I like talking about this stuff. Yeah. But anyway,
you and I can have it another time. That's a good conversation. Yeah.